And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. And the Buck and I and a very special guest are with y'all for the next 2 hours. On today's show, we'll be joined by Chip Brown from SEC Media Days in Tampa. We'll preview Texas Day, which of course is tomorrow. Also talk about everything else going on at Conference Media Days. We will vote on the official ballot, our projected order of finish here on Bucky and BK for the SEC in 2026. We'll get to that. We'll recap day 2, let you hear from Kirby Smart, some of the coaches who were represented yesterday in Tampa Bay. We've got the BBK news, why today's not so bad, and plenty more to dive into on a hump day edition of the program. We appreciate y'all spending some of your Wednesday with us. Buck, I'll never doubt you again, my man. You said you would find a way to end up with the life-sized cardboard cutout of Arch Manning. For those of you watching the show today, you could see that right over Bucky's right shoulder, there is life-size cardboard cutout, Red Bull Arch Manning. Well
That's
done.
not even cardboard. What do you mean? He's just not moving right now. He's still asleep. We ended up playing a little catchy catch yesterday afternoon, and he's a little tired. He's just not up yet. So he's ready to go. He'll wake up eventually. But right now he's still trying to sleep in a little bit.
Well, his eyes are open. Does he sleep with his eyes open?
Yeah, he's like the kid at summer camp.
Oh, you did say that. You had a kid that you camped with. Wasn't he your bunkmate too?
Yeah, he was above me.
Oh, he slept with his eyes open every night?
Every night. No, that's just the way he slept, no matter when he was sleeping.
That's the start of a horror movie right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I picked this up yesterday, and, there it is. Good morning to Arch. People are saying good morning to Arch, too. Very, very good. But this thing is huge. I brought it in. I'm not going to say where I got it from, but it was given to me from a vendor. He said, no, you do a lot. We know you for the last couple of years. Why don't you take this? I'll be able to get another one. And I'm like, cool. So I stuck it in the back of the Beamer, and the Benzo in the back, and it made it. But this thing is huge. Well, you can see that. I'm going to have to, in order to make it a part of the bit, after my wife gets home, I'm going to have to cut it down by his waist so it'll come down to my level. But dude, that thing, I stuck it up against the wall, and the dog went nuts. Sorry about that, Arch. My dog was trying to attack that. Zach thought somebody was in the house. And I thought, it'd be kind of cool if I got another one. I'd put it on my gate at the house, so when the gate opened and closed. But someone would come and deface that. Somebody's going to drive by in the middle of the night, either take it or do something to it. Sort of like when we had our picture on the Doug boat, it was the Doug boat guy himself that was defacing the picture. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got it. And these are everywhere. They're all anybody selling Red Bull has got them. It's not Valero. It's everybody. Every convenience store that understands can get one of these, but they're huge.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm surprised that thing fit in your car.
Yeah, I had to put it in the back and then stretch it across the back seat into the front seat. I should have put the face out the window.
So how tall, because I have yet to see one of these in person. I guess it's been too long since I've been to a convenience store, but how tall do you think that thing is?
About I'm going to say 6'1", 6'2".
Because Arch himself is like 6'4", 6'5", so they went pretty close to full size.
They went pretty close. My upstairs, that thing is bent out because, it's short to the top right there. It's only 5 something, but that thing is bent upwards right now. Oh. Jay just said, "Do not cut that." He wants that. Obviously, he wants that at the store.
Oh yeah, Jay.
That can go with us. If you people just don't mind, if you just want to see my face, and you don't need to see my shoulders or anything, that's fine with me. But I can't, eventually, in order to see more of me and less of him, I'm going to have to cut his head off. But there's the ball. There's the catchy catch.
Don't cut his head off. Like, you can cut his legs off, turn him into a double amputee, but we got to see his face. He can't be the headless quarterback.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. I would have to cut him down at the waist.
Okay.
I'd have to cut his legs off. But Jay's already said, do not cut it off. Leave it as life size. Less of you and more of him is better anyway.
We're radio guys. He's a good-looking young man. We're old radio dudes who
yeah, for YouTube, and for the YouTube spot, for the TV spot, that's fine. You can see my face. You don't need to see the rest of my masculine body whatsoever. That's not that important. You don't want to see my guns. I mean, you'll miss out on some guns. That's about it.
There's nothing there. You can keep flexing, but there ain't nothing popping out.
Yeah, well, really, just barely getting out of this small. Oh, I'm sorry, medium that I'm wearing. But these things are everywhere, and they're going to be ripped off of places. People are going to have the people at the cash register busy while the other dude's walking out of the store with one of these. It's going to be happening all over.
Well, way to go, sir. You made a promise to the people that you would find a way to get one of those, and sure enough, you did. Well done.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. As I said, you can't leave that in your house. You bump it now. You see that, you just catch that out of the corner of your eye. It looks like some dude standing in the dark. That's what the guy at the store said. He ran into it and he slapped Arch across the head with his bag because he got all weirded out, all nervous about it. He said, "Take this out of here, will you?"
Oh, yeah. If Arch doesn't play well, then people are going to deface that thing.
Well, of course they are. And you know what Aggies are going to do to this all over the stores.
Yeah. If Arch plays well, the Aggies will be defacing it. But if Arch doesn't play well, if he has a bad game, then it'll be his own people turning on him.
Oh, no doubt about it. Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the great job that you do. We appreciate what you do for us. And to you and your families, please be safe out there.
Yeah, once we get some new Bucky and BK merch from our guys at Waterloo Printing and Graphics, we'll put a Bucky and BK hat on Arch Manning. Red Bull's not paying us. If Red Bull starts paying us, then we'll keep that. But we got to have Arch repping.
We got all kinds of spots for Red Bull if they want to be a part of it.
100%. All right, well, it's so good. Let's dive back into the SEC Media Days conversation. Of course, the event continuing today, day 3 of 4 in Tampa. The Longhorns contingent will not be present until tomorrow. Texas, the 16th of the 16 teams to go. So we'll hear from Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning and Colin Simmons and Trevor Gooseby tomorrow afternoon. Buck, 4 teams went yesterday as we kind of recap day 2. And ironically enough, none of those 4 are on the Longhorns 2026 schedule.
How about
3 of the teams that went on Monday, Texas will see. 3 of the teams going today, Texas will see. 3 of the teams going tomorrow, Texas will see. Yet nobody who went yesterday is on the regular season schedule for the Longhorns. But one of the 4 teams that was represented in Tampa, the back-to-back defending SEC champions, and obviously the team that Texas and anybody else in this league is trying to beat, that would be the Georgia Bulldogs. And I think, again, even though they're not on the regular season schedule for the Longhorns, if Texas does get back to Atlanta for the SEC title game for the second time in 3 years, it feels like there's a very good chance that they will meet the Georgia Bulldogs there. So I feel like they're worth talking about.
Yeah, they're worth talking about anytime. They're pretty dadgum good. And they're coached by a guy who didn't know how to. Well, he knows how to lose to Alabama, but the rest of you, look out. And they seem like
he did lose to Alabama last year in the regular season, but then they beat the brakes off of Alabama in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, when it matters, that group wins. They know how to win. They know how to win close ball games. They win ball games in different ways. They can out physical you. They can out finesse you. Anyway, you like it, they're going to be there, and they're going to be there for 4 quarters. They don't disappear on you.
They don't. Yeah, and they've been to the SEC title game 5 years in a row. Again, they've only won it 2 years in a row, but they've been in that game for 5 straight seasons. The official conference media poll will come out on Friday. I expect Georgia to be the favorite. Now, I think Texas will get a lot of first-place votes. I think it'll be very close, but I think because of what Georgia has done, because of what they have coming back from last year's team that, of course, won the conference, and they've got, on paper, no one's got an easy schedule in this league, Buck. There are too many good teams, and you got to play 9 games. But according to the FPI metric from ESPN, Georgia has the easiest schedule of all 16 teams in this league. So there's a lot of reasons why people are bullish on the Bulldogs besides the fact that they just are kind of there every single year.
Yeah, I mean, if their schedule, like you said, anything in the SEC, even the worst teams have pretty tough schedules. Those 9 SEC games are plenty. There's plenty of physicality, even at the bottom tier of the SEC. So it's not a cakewalk for them, but most of the teams that they play this year, they're going to tear up, I believe.
Yeah, there's a chance they're favored in all 12 of their games.
Yes.
Now, they do have to play Alabama, and that game is in Tuscaloosa. And you're right, Alabama, whether it was Nick Saban or Kalen DeBoer, has been a bit of a thorn in the side for Kirby Smart, really the only team that has been. They do have to go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, obviously, the team that beat Georgia in the college football playoff last year in that Sugar Bowl. So revenge will be on the mind for the Bulldogs, and that is a road game for UGA. But, they don't have to play Texas, which for them, that's kind of an easy win, unfortunately. They don't have LSU on the slate. They don't have Texas A&M on the slate. Right. They get Oklahoma at home. So, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody it's an easy schedule. Nobody in this league has that. But Georgia's going to be favored in, I think, at worst 11 games. Maybe the Bama game. We'll see what the Crimson Tide look like. That game is on October 10th, the same day Texas plays Oklahoma. But there's a very good chance Georgia is Vegas favored in all 12 of their regular season matchups.
Yeah, and one thing that we do know about Georgia is their defense. If you thought they were down a little bit last year, well, they'll bounce back. They don't stay down for very long when it comes to defensive football, and especially on that front line, that front defensive line in that linebacker area. They will be good again. They've got a veteran quarterback. They always have a running back. This is not like Oklahoma where they can't find a guy. They always find a running back. That's Georgia. That's Georgia's deal. We'll find a running back. We'll find one in the portal. We'll find one at a lower level. But when he comes to Georgia, he's going to be special. So
yeah,
they'll be just fine. They always have a great offensive line.
They do. Well, here was Kirby Smart yesterday. We got a couple of clips from Kirby, and he was asked, what's it going to take to win the SEC again? How do you do that for a third consecutive season? And kind of following up on your point, here's what he said.
Well, it's every year. It's going to be run the ball and stop the run. And people want to talk about NIL and transfers and portals and expansions and 9-game playoffs. And at the end of the day, guys, it's about who plays football the best. And we pride ourselves on coaching hard, playing physical, and that's how you beat people in the SEC. You got to be able to run the ball and stop the run.
Yeah, he's pretty basic when it comes to all that stuff on, talking about NIL and everything else. He just knows, well, whatever it takes, whether if I go in the portal, I'm looking for specific players, types of players. They're going to be tough on defense. We're going to be tough in the trenches, and we're going to run the ball, and we're not going to let you run on us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do, and it's worked really well. And their top 3 running backs from last year's team are back here in 2026. Now, Georgia went to the transfer portal and brought in Dante Dowdell, who was at Kentucky last season, the guy Texas saw in Lexington. And a story that came out recently was Dowdell was involved in an ATV accident and has been treated for serious injuries in Atlanta. And I hope he's okay. I know everyone wants to make a joke about another driving-related issue with Georgia. First and foremost, I hope the kid's all right.
And it sounded like a pretty serious deal that he sustained.
Yeah. And Kirby Smart said, we don't know when his return's going to be, and I don't know the specifics of it. And he said there were some serious injuries there. I mean, those ATVs are no jokes.
No.
But they still have really good running backs. It's not like they lost a bunch of guys and they were relying on Dowdell to be their guy. They've got a lot back in that department from last year's team. And the scary part, Buck, we've talked about this as a reason for confidence for Texas. The fact that the Longhorns only, I've got air quotes going, had 7 players drafted, like a big step back from where they had been in the 2 previous years. Georgia only had 8 players drafted this year, and they did not have a single first-round pick selected from that defense.
Right.
So that tells you they've got a bunch of those guys coming back. They always have talent on their roster. And just like Texas, where it's like they had guys who could have gone pro, decided to return, or guys who were just too young. They weren't draft eligible yet, so they had to return. Like Georgia had a bit of a down year when it came to the draft, which means they've got a bunch of guys coming back from a team that won the SEC and had a first-round bye in the CFP.
Yeah, I needed to have them have 15 guys drafted, and they're all gone. But they got a bunch of guys that are coming back that are a year stronger, a year more into their culture. That sucks too.
Yeah, 13 starters back. And I'm not including transfer portal guys. Like 13 starters from last year's squad do return. They don't have any player drafted in the first round this year, which is so rare for Georgia. I think the biggest question for them, Buck, it's not the regular season. It's, can they figure out the first round bye in the playoff?
Yes.
I think Georgia's a lock to make the CFP. Now, hopefully Texas can beat them in the SEC championship game. I wouldn't mind it if they don't get to the SEC championship game, but I don't think there's any way Georgia is worse than 10-2 this year. So I'm pinning them in to the CFP. The question is, can they figure out the bye? Because the last 2 years, they've won the conference, they've gotten the bye, and then they've lost the Sugar Bowl, their first game in the college football playoff. That's been their issue since this thing expanded to 12.
Well, it just seems like the SEC has the struggles with once they get to the playoff now. They beat each other up during the course of the year. What are you going to do when you have that? What are you going to do when you get to the playoff? How are you going to practice? What can you do? Kirby Smart likes to, the way he talked, he likes to have a physical team, which means he has physical practices. There's no kind of let up. But then after you play a 9-game schedule in the SEC, you've got physical practices because that's your culture is we're going to be, we're going to lighten up today. I don't think so. No, we're going to be having a physical practice. You play those 9 games, then you get to the playoff and you're playing a different style of offense, different style of defense with somebody else. And you're not rested. There's no rest for the weary. There's just no rest when the playoffs come. It just goes, once they get rolling, they get rolling. So where do you get your rest if you're in the SEC? The SEC's got to figure that part out, BK, or this stretch of what they do in the Big Ten, because the Big Ten can talk about how physical they are, but top to bottom, it's not like the SEC. It's just not. Their lower tier groups are not. You can tell me all you want. The Northwestern has gotten better, and Minnesota and all that crap. Indiana just started to jump into that over the last 2 years. Indiana used to be everybody's cakewalk, so you can't tell me that, it's been like this for years. Top to bottom, the Big Ten is just like the SEC. It's not. It hasn't been. It's just recently. And that's now, as you said, the big SEC has put themselves in a situation. Now you're playing 9 of these teams.
Yeah.
And you want to be physical all week long. Kirby wants, this is what we do. He just told you this is how we play. Stop the run. That means they're going to practice hard. There's not going to be any light practices. I don't know how you get prepared for the playoffs.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me because in the 14 playoff, Georgia had no problems. And there was a long layoff between the SEC championship and the semifinals in the 14 playoff, and they had no problem with it.
Yeah, nice long layoff.
Well, they still have that. I mean, the quarterfinal games of the CFP get played on New Year's. The SEC championship game gets played the first Saturday in December. So they've got 3 to 4 weeks off. And last year they lost to an SEC team in Ole Miss.
Yeah, so, they're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, that's the big question is, can they figure it out? I don't know. Like 2 years ago, Carson Beck was hurt. Gunnar Stockton was kind of thrown into the fire, whatever. Maybe that explains it. But, last year they were playing Ole Miss. I know Ole Miss was very good. They ended up making a run. But, that one stunned me that they lost a shootout to Ole Miss.
Yeah, and you're going to be playing the teams that you may play during the year in the SEC.
Right.
That's the tough part. So, they're going to. But that's for all the SEC teams. How you're going to look at the playoffs? What do you've got to be physical during the year because that's what your league is all about. You then can't have off and then just you're going to practice the way you practice. You're not. You may have to figure out a way to change up certain practices, but I don't know. You're not changing the schedule now.
Right. I don't think Kirby's going to change too much. I mean,
no, he's not. He's not going to go through all of a sudden. Oh no, we're going to lighten up once the season's over with. Even when we had these weeks, this is how we're going to practice. That guy's not going to change much. He's not going to change his style of football.
No, nor should he. But obviously the SEC as a whole, they've got to figure out a way to win national championships again. I mean, it's been 3 years, not only since an SEC team won it all, but since an SEC team has played for it all. So that's, Georgia and Texas, I think, are the two teams that the league is kind of looking to, like, hey, can y'all do something here? Y'all are the best teams. Y'all are our best shots. Can you figure it out and start beating some teams in the playoff to get to that game? But yeah, Georgia the last 2 years, that's been their bugaboo. They've done everything right in the regular season. They've done everything right in Atlanta. And then they get to the CFP and they have peed down their leg, for lack of a better phrase.
Hell, the Aggies start off on fire, and then they just started to get worn down. You can just see
we're talking about national championship contenders here, sir. Why are you bringing A&M up into this?
Come on, man.
Oh, come on, man. You.
They got that quarterback.
Yeah, you love Marcel Reed. Another bit of sound here from Kirby Smart. So, look, Kirby Smart finds motivation better than any coach in the country. We know this. Anything
against the world.
Anything people say negatively about him or about his team, he's going to use it. And hell, even when his team's projected to win it all, he finds ways to convince his locker room that everybody doubted him and nobody believed in him. Well, here's another moment of this yesterday in the press conference portion of Georgia's appearance at SEC Media Days. Here's a little Q&A about Georgia's wide receiver room. On paper, that's their biggest question. They lost their number one wide receiver with Zachariah Branch. They didn't hit the portal super hard. They don't have like a Cam Coleman or even a Ryan Wingo. Like they don't have a difference maker, at least right now on paper at wide receiver. Kirby was asked about that, and take a listen.
I wanted to ask about the wide receiver room in particular. One of the bigger question marks, at least that I have, how would you assess the wide receiver room heading into fall camp?
I'm just very thankful for people like you, Steve, that keep questioning them, because the more you question them, the more it helps me motivate them. So everybody says that we don't listen to you guys. Well, the wide receivers are listening, so they'll have a new challenge issued based on your question.
Very nice.
He's not even pretending anymore. He's like, no, I'm using what y'all say. Yeah, we pay attention to what y'all write and what y'all ask and what y'all do. So there's some extra motivation. Thank you very much. We'll use that.
Yeah, just go ahead. Give us. We needed something. My team was getting way too comfortable this summer, but we do appreciate that as we get ready to start fall camp.
Yeah, that's.
It sounds like that guy's asked that question before too.
Yeah, it sounds like a local guy, right? I mean, media days, you get people from all over the conference, but that sounded like a Georgia person. I mean, Kirby mentioned him by name. And he's like, yeah, thanks for asking that. And now I get to tell my guys that you think they suck. So sweet.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it good. He's got good running backs. He's going to have a good offensive and defensive line, and he's got a veteran quarterback now. He didn't have just some guy with inexperience. They got a guy who's played a lot of football now.
Look, Georgia's my pick to win the SEC. I hate They won the years that's been in the league. Like somebody else do it. Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, me and Arch are still here.
Okay. I don't know if I
froze. Now I got you.
Froze. All right. Maybe it was me who froze.
Hey, could be the heat.
Could be the heat. Well, it's Rectum. I mean, Rectum's awful. They're worse than ERCOT when it comes to this stuff, dude. Terrible.
Yeah, but I'll say this. I've got the new system, and it's been working for me. My neighborhood had an outage the other day. Of course, some squirrel committed suicide here into some generator, and my little invincible thing clicked on, and it's been great.
Good.
I like it.
All right. Well, that's good news. Rectum's not paying us, so don't be promoting them too much.
Don't say too many nice things about them.
No. I don't need that. All right. Well, we'll take your thoughts. Chip Brown's going to join us momentarily from Tampa. We'll get his thoughts on Georgia, and we'll preview Texas's portion of Conference Media Days, which, of course, is tomorrow. We'll kind of get the feel and the vibe from everything going on in Tampa. But
When I was watching TV last night, with Arch over there, that way against the 85-inch screen TV from AV Consultation, he kept saying, "Throw the ball. We're going to throw." I said, "Dude, we're trying to win the games." All he said is to me the whole night is, "We're going to throw the ball. Throw it. Sark, throw the ball. Throw the ball." I'm like, "Dude, chill out. You got to be able to run sometimes."
What were you watching? Were you watching like games from last season?
No, I was watching some Sports Center stuff. They still were messing around with soccer. So he was done with soccer. Arch was done. He wanted to start talking football, and he's like, "Throw it. We're going to just throw it every down." I'm like, "No, dude, you can't throw it every down." We don't know about the 7 blocks of silly putty that are in front of you yet. We don't know about them yet.
I like that.
We got one cinder block, but the rest of them so far, they're the 6 blocks of silly putty. Maybe that's all they have left. So
cardboard cutout Arch is always thinking ball. He's watching soccer highlights on Sports Center, yet he's thinking about the upcoming Texas football season. I like it.
Yeah, he's bugging me about going out and play catchy catch now. I'm like, dude, you got to do the show.
Doing a show, Arch. Show some respect.
Plenty of time for catchy catch out there in 105-degree temperature, my friend.
Yeah. Arch, if you want to say something, we'd love to have you speak.
Oh, please. He won't do that. He's like Jeter. Once they get to a certain status, then they just kind of dummy up. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. All right. We'll take your thoughts. Chip Brown will join us in a moment. But before we chop it up with Chip, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Shout out friends over at Hat Creek Burger Company since 2008 right here in Austin, Texas, serving burgers, fries, and shakes. Hat Creek Burger is a place for good food, good folks, and a whole lot of fun. Hat Creek Burger is proud to be a place where you can come in hungry and you will leave full. And, yeah, the big hat that I had the other day, like I said, Mama's out of town. Buck's about to go Hat Creek crazy. I need to get some burger meat in me and some of those fries. And they've got great fries, great shakes, of course, and all different types of shakes. And my favorite is the strawberry shake, of course, with whipped cream and the strawberry. But in the state of Texas, there's over 30 Hat Creek Burger Companies locations here in the state of Texas. You'll enjoy it. Great playgrounds for the kids and happy hour for the adults. Mom and Dad, if you want to go and have yourself a margarita in the evenings while the kids play on the playscape, you can get that done at Hat Creek Burger Company. There's something for everyone.
Yes, indeed. Love Hat Creek Burger Company. HatCreekBurgers.com to find a location near you and to place an online order. You were talking about your 85-inch TV from Audiovisual Consultations. You know what? Let's play the spot again. We played this earlier in the week, and I didn't love your commentary reacting to it, but the spot.
The voiceover lady.
Yeah, the voiceover lady. I didn't like who you said that was, but here is a word from our guy Tom McKay and his great crew at Audiovisual Consultations.
Scientific data proves it. Size does matter.
Oh.
Hi, this is Tom McKay with Audiovisual Consultations. The bigger and wider your television is, the better it'll please your senses. Summer is here and the time is now to get everything tuned up and ready. New big screen TVs, projection video, indoor and outdoor surround sound, all the goodies at great prices and followed up with great service. So give us a call at 512-255-8678, 512-255-8678, or online at avconsultations.com.
Maybe that's Hazel from the Yellow Rose. Who knows?
Oh, was that your favorite back in the day?
No, I don't give out names.
Oh, you just made that one up then, or what?
Yeah, that's just the makeup. I don't know if there's a Hazel there. Hazel's one of those names that nobody gets to have anymore. Nobody names their kid Hazel.
No, you probably never should have. And something tells me that Hazel that you're talking about, that wasn't a God-given name.
No, probably not.
Really something that she chose herself when she started her career. But thank you for putting her through school.
Yes. Somebody had to. The education is very important to me and to Hazel.
It is. Yeah. Something tells me Hazel, this is probably the 90s where you're referencing. I don't know if Hazel's career, at least that career, is still active.
Oh, no. That career is over with.
Ship has sailed for Hazel.
Unless her grandkids are on the pole these days.
Okay. Shout out to AV Consultations, 512-255-8678. Upgrade your home TV setup with the best in the business. All right. Joining us now from, I believe, a hotel in Tampa, our Longhorns insider, the man, the myth, the legend, Chip Brown, horns247.com. It's our weekly Chop It Up with Chip, presented by Cover 3. C Breezy, what's going on?
What's happening? Yes, I'm at the SEC Media Hotel, the Marriott Water Street. Look at this. Look at this view. You kidding me?
There you go.
Wow. Beautiful downtown Tampa. The greatest skyline in the world, some might say.
Yeah, baby.
How is Tampa, Chip? I've never been there. Part of the reason why I didn't go is because I didn't really want to go to Tampa. If it was somewhere else more fun, then I'd probably be there hanging out. But what's Tampa Bay like?
Tampa is underrated. You know, you got the water. You got last night the SEC held their party at the Tampa Bay Lightning Arena, and they were giving out cigars. I mean, I've never been to a media day where they're like, you know, giving you great food, Cubano sandwiches, you know, shrimp and cigars.
No jerky, no jerky, like we're used to.
Jerky. I didn't see any jerky. And tonight they're going to the, you know, Raymond James, the Bucks Stadium. So my man Eric Henry, who's from Tampa, is out of his mind excited about all this. So yeah, I came here for the Clemson Alabama National Championship with our man Sean Adams, RIP Sean Adams, and it's a cool vibe. I think you should have come.
Restaurant food's decent there.
Yeah, great seafood.
Okay.
Great seafood. Love seafood.
Well, you know, that's the fun stuff outside, but inside the convention center. Before we talk about Texas, because definitely want to get your thoughts on tomorrow and what you're looking for and hoping to hear from the Longhorn contingent. But first couple of days, Chip, what's kind of been the vibe and maybe your biggest storyline / takeaways from the number of teams who have already been represented out there in Tampa?
Well, I think there's a sense that, you know, Georgia and Texas are the teams to beat, but there's a lot of, you know, there are a lot of folks who think Oklahoma is going to be a problem this year. And I got to see it from that offensive line, because that offensive line was so bad last year. They couldn't run the ball. They're putting a lot of faith in Parker Livingston. Like that's a big deal for Oklahoma, because they've got, you know, quick, fast Isaiah Satania, but they think Parker Livingston at 6'4", you know, outside guy who can go up and get it, is going to really help John Mateer. And then, of course, they went and got arguably the best tight end in the portal and Hayden Hansen, because I don't know what Arbuckle was thinking last year playing those mighty mites at tight end. They were not equipped to handle the job. So they go get Hayden Hansen, who's 6'8", 268. And so, you know, we'll see. I'm kind of wait and see. I mean, I think Oklahoma's going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I think their defense is going to be really good. But, you know, I like Ole Miss. I mean, I think Trinidad Chambliss is just a winner. Like, that guy just finds ways to win. He won 2 national championships at D2 Ferris State. He had him, you know, if Carson Beck doesn't score with 18 seconds left, Ole Miss is in the national championship game. Like, that team with Kawan Lacey, who ran for almost 1,600 yards last year, he's back. And I think their defense has playmakers back at every level. So, you know, I've said I think that Ole Miss game on October 24th for Texas is one of those that Texas better have all of its wits about them, even though it's a home game in Austin. That's a dangerous quarterback in Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, they've got a dangerous team. They've now become one of those real physical SEC physical teams too on both sides of the ball. So they bring enough guys back on that offensive line. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and their offensive coordinator, John David Baker,
Yep.
runs Kiffin's offense. He's been at East Carolina the last 2 years and transformed that offense, took him to from like 20 points per game to 32 points per game. Like, he knows what he's doing. And when you have a great quarterback, that guy can be an eraser. He just makes plays. I mean, some of the, coaches here were like, that guy is a handful because you can have him perfectly defensed and then he still, finds a way. So, there's a lot of talk about Lane Kiffin and LSU. But, Sam Leavitt's coming off the injury. Will the offense be a well-oiled machine, or will it take time, which doesn't help Texas because Texas plays them in mid-November when LSU should have everything figured out. And they're playing in Baton Rouge. So that's going to be a problem. But there are a lot of folks who think Texas is going to take down Ohio State, that Ohio State, with the new faces that they have on their defense, if you're going to get Ohio State, you want to get them early and before they kind of figure everything out. And I think without Caleb Downs and without Sonny Styles, they are going to be figuring some stuff out. I think Matt Patricia got a lot of credit for doing a great job with the Ohio State defense, but having Caleb Downs helps. I mean, that guy is like Earl Thomas. He just sees the game so well and processes and gets there. So, yeah, I mean, we heard from Kalen DeBoer this morning, and, there's a lot of excitement about Alabama. They, believe it or not, they went to the college football playoff last year.
Won a game.
They went to OU and won. And my God, the Alabama questions to DeBoer are like, what's it going to take? What's it going to take to get back? And, basically everyone's asking, when are you going to win a national championship like Nick Saban? And of course, he's got young guys at quarterback. So, I like Keelan Russell a lot. How quickly can he, take to the spotlight and handle all the pressure? Because being the quarterback at Bama is like being the quarterback at Texas, like being the quarterback of the Cowboys. You're the most talked about guy on the team. So it's going to be fun. I mean, 6 new coaches, a lot of returning quarterbacks, but some, like Bama, a new quarterback. And let's see who's got the depth to handle this 9-game SEC schedule.
Chip, how about Auburn media people? Are they still tooting their horn like we're going to be something special? It's going to take us a couple years, but we'll be right back at you very soon here in the SEC.
I'll tell you, I like Alex Golish. That guy's a tough guy, and he brought Byram Brown with him from South Florida, and that guy's won games. I mean, I get it; it was at South Florida, but
he's a big old dude.
Yeah, he's a big, strong dude. He's confident, and having a quarterback who's on the same page with the head coach, it matters. And
I'm pretty sure they brought a few of their players along with them too. Yeah.
I'm intrigued by Auburn. Texas doesn't play them, obviously, but I think they're going to take off. The interesting team to me is Kentucky. Will Stein, the former, Texas quality control coach, he was basically Jeff Traylor's assistant during the Charlie Strong era, and then ended up working for Traylor as his offensive coordinator at UTSA, and then Oregon hired him. And of course, he was, with Hank Carter at Lake Travis High School. They did so well in the portal. It's amazing. Kenny Minchie, the Notre Dame quarterback transfer, who almost beat out CJ Carr for that job, believe it or not. And the 10th highest ranked portal class. He was asked, why do you think Kentucky can, make a big jump this year? He said, because of me. Yeah. And I like that confidence. So, we'll see. Obviously, CJ Baxter is there. I talked to some of the Kentucky guys. They're like, that guy's come in. He's determined. He's a good leader. Bo Barnes, the young linebacker who's got a ton of upside, a lot of speed at 244 pounds. So, Texas doesn't play Kentucky, but that's going to be a fun team to watch because they went and got offensive linemen from bigger programs. So let's see what Will Stein can get going.
Chip Brown, horns247.com, joining us here on Bucky and BK, our weekly Chop It Up with Chip, presented by our friends at Cover 3, the best sports bar in Austin. Chip, another team that Texas doesn't play is Georgia, but I think they're always worth asking about. And probably in a perfect world, the Longhorns do end up playing Georgia for an SEC championship in Atlanta in December. Your thoughts on Georgia? Are they your favorites in the conference, or do you think Texas has enough this year, or somebody else maybe has enough this year to dethrone the Dogs?
Well, Georgia's going to be young in some spots on the offensive line, in the secondary. And we give Kirby Smart a ton of credit because he's always recruiting so well. It doesn't really matter who he plugs in on defense. They always seem to have answers. And of course, they've got Nate Frazier back. So they're going to be physical. We know that. They're going to run the ball. They've got Lawson Lucky still at tight end. But they lost, their speed receiver, Branch. And so they're going to be breaking in some new receivers. I think Georgia's gettable. I mean, Texas doesn't have to play them until they're at a neutral site if they play in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, or in the college football playoff. So I think that's I don't know. I mean, look, I like Gunnar Stockton a lot. The guy completed 70% of his passes. He came up big early in some games where they were in trouble, like against Tennessee last year, hit London Humphrey for a game-winning touchdown in the final minute. I think that guy's better than people give him credit for. People act like he's a stiff. He's not. So, Georgia's the king until they get beat. They've won 2 straight SEC championships, but then they've gone 0-2 in the college football playoff the last 2 years. So, Kirby was getting some questions about that, and he talked about how the long layoff, the 30 days between games, is a problem. And I'm like, Kirby's making some, he's like, not to make an excuse, but he just made an excuse. And some Georgia guys who cover the program were like, man, he was nice to us at media days. That means he's not sure about his team. Because when he's super confident, he's just kind of cocky and short with everybody. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, I think Georgia's they don't have the monsters up front that they had on defense. I mean, it's hard to have Jalen Carter and Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis all at once with the linebackers and safeties that they were sending to the league every year. But, we'll see. Raylan Wilson at linebacker, but I think Georgia's gettable. I don't think they're just a slam dunk. I do think Texas is in the SEC championship game. I'm just not sure who they're going to play.
Wow.
Yeah. And Chip, for a team like Alabama, they definitely got to get better with the physicality. Those aren't, Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. I'm not, no matter what they want to do to him in Alabama, that guy can coach football. He's just the physicality part of him. I think he's very smart. I think it takes a little bit of time with the way he coaches. He's that guy. But once he gets rolling, it stays rolling. But one thing that they can't stand in Alabama is getting beat up physically by teams. And if they don't get that solved, that guy may not be at Alabama very long. That's the problem. They keep giving extensions out, but if they're not physical and they get beat up physically on both sides of the football, that's where it's going to be his downfall. Yeah,
they couldn't run the ball. Neither could Oklahoma. That was what was so crazy about neither could Texas. But that was what really, I think, had Alabama fans feeling like they were not a college football playoff team last year who won a game in the playoff because they couldn't run the ball like they're used to.
Now, does that let me ask you that. The 3 teams that you just mentioned, and BK and I have talked about it before, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas not being able to run the football, that just doesn't sound right. It doesn't. I mean, why is it that Oklahoma can't find a runner? You know, they generally come across state, find one of these kids in Texas, brings them back, and he becomes a star. Or they can go anywhere in the nation. It's Oklahoma. You're supposed to find a running, but that should never be your problem. Now, the guy may be good in his second year, or in his third year he's going for the Heisman. How is that translating between Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas? That's the weirdest thing I've heard of in a long time in college football, those three schools.
I think they got caught being young on the offensive line. And for Oklahoma, you know, they're saying, hey, we're bringing back 4 offensive linemen, and you're almost like, is that a good thing? I mean, they're counting on those guys to make such a big jump from last year to this year that they paid the price in gaining experience last year, and they lived with mistakes to get that experience. I think Alabama got caught. Texas got caught. They couldn't figure out the left guard situation. The interior of the line was getting smashed. Lot of missed assignments. And so, you know, Texas went out and brought in some experience, and we'll see, you know, Cole Hudson suing to get another year. I mean, I've got a lot of people saying that they don't think that lawsuit has a chance, but then there's an Ohio judge that did, you know, rule in favor of, you know, some of these seniors who just graduated, who did not redshirt, who feel like they got screwed. So who knows? It's hard to predict these courts nowadays, but, you know, Texas has Andre Kojo coming back from injury. They went and got Lawrence Seymour. Obviously they brought, you know, Melvin Siani in from Wake Forest. They're moving Brandon Baker to guard. You know, Brandon Baker's got to get better as a run blocker. He's a really good pass blocker. He's got really good feet. And that's the jump that they're hoping he can make, so that, you know, that offensive line, and they went out and got backs who can make something out of nothing.
Right.
Just in case the blocking's not there, and getting Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. So, you know, Sark tried to think of everything because he knows he's got to run the ball. They did not have play action last year, and that's a huge part of this offense. If you don't have play action, man, you know, you want to know why Arch Manning struggled. He needs the defense to bite on those run fakes so that he's got a guy loose over the top, and that's what we should see this year.
For sure. Chip Brown, horns247.com, joining us for our weekly Chop It Up with Chip segment presented by Cover 3. Chip, we know you're on a bit of a time crunch. You have time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of a loaded question. I say one more like it'll be easy, but Texas Day is tomorrow. 4 Longhorns will be there. Well, you got the head coach, and then you've got Arch Manning, Colin Simmons, and Trevor Goosby. I'm sure you're already racking your brain about questions you want to ask those guys, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Is there maybe one question that you have that's most top of mind for the 4 in the Texas contingent that will descend on Tampa tomorrow?
Well, a lot of it is Trevor Goosby and what does he think of this line, because that's the $1 million. Like, I trust. I mean, I'll ask Colin Simmons about Will Muschamp, but I know Colin Simmons loves Will Muschamp, and you know, Muschamp's told him, I'm going to have you doing a lot of stuff. You're going to have to learn a lot of stuff. And Colin Simmons is like, awesome, let's go. And Muschamp's scheme is, you know, it's more complex. There's more variety than what Pete Kwiatkowski had. So guys have to be, you know, good learners and adapt. But I think they've got veteran guys, you know, Colin Simmons, Hero Canoe. You know, Alex January's a junior now. Murad Watson's a junior now. And, you know, Ian Gaffard is a junior. And so, you know, and then at linebacker, my God, Raheem Biles, no one's talking. I don't think people are talking enough about that guy, because good gravy, the plays that guy made. So, you know, with Goosby, though, he's a candid guy. I want to hear about how Andre Kojo's looking. How's Lawrence Seymour?
Yeah.
Because if that offensive line is markedly better than Arch Manning, with the confidence that he gained last year with these playmakers, it should be much more explosive. And we'll see Texas go from like 30 points per game last year, the lowest of the Sarkisian era, to like maybe 37, 38 points per game. And that's a huge jump. That's a massive jump, especially in the SEC where, it's a knife fight every week.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Chip?
I agree. I mean, and for me, Chip, it's the fact that I think Ryan Wingo is the guy that can set that all apart. If he's consistent, that number, that scoring number will jump up to around 38. He'll be the guy that if he's consistent, he will be in the end zone in other plays besides quick screens and reverses and things like that. He'll catch it at the 20 and walk into the end zone if the ball doesn't hit him in the face mask or hit him in the nuts or something. I mean, he's got a chance, if he's consistent, to be maybe the best. He's the real difference maker when it comes to numbers on that offense, I believe.
Yeah, and he had, he led the team in drops. There were third down drops. Like, go back to the Mississippi State game. He killed them. He had a huge third down drop in the red zone in the fourth quarter where they had to settle for a field goal. And you're like, dude, when are you going to make a play? And I get it. The screens, he loves the screens, and he's so explosive. That's the thing that drives you crazy. Then he's only 4 of 14 on contested catches, the worst on the team. Like, as good as he was, and he had 54 catches for 800 plus yards and 7 touchdowns, which is a really good year. There was so much more on the table for him.
Yes.
And I think that's what everyone's counting on. Cam Coleman takes the pressure, and that frees up Wingo to go, be the guy. He doesn't have to carry the weight of, being the number one. He can just go play.
Well, what's going to happen once he catches the ball. I don't know how you catch those quick screens like he catches out there in a flat, and the other ones are down the field balls that just kind of graze off his hands. Catching that quick screen and having your mind thinking about what you're going to do after you get this ball, who you're going to make miss, would drive me crazier than just going down and having a slant route hit me in the hands and just going through my hands. I don't know how that mentality works with him. It works the opposite way with him. It's the quick screens that he just sucks up real quick and he's gone. And it's the ones that are the easier ones that he drops. And it's like he's got it in reverse. I mean, he's got to fix. Once he fixes that guy's ready to go. And so is his team. Yeah. And you all know how much I like Sterling Burkhalter from Wake Forest, who's catches everything. Veteran, played in this offense last year because he was under a Sarkisian assistant from Alabama. Mm-hmm. And that guy's ready to go. So not that they're going to, put Wingo on the bench, but Texas has guys who can get it done. So no excuses.
No excuses. Chip, great stuff as always, man. Quick plug for horns247.com.
Yeah, get over there. Got all the SEC media days. Check out the story that I wrote at the beginning of SEC media days. It's a 5-year look back at how Texas and OU were able to keep everything secret. It's a behind the scenes look at how they made the move to the SEC. It's a free story. Go check it out. I think everybody will enjoy that one. And then, all the coverage, got the insider coming out, first thing in the morning, maybe even tonight. So get over to Horns 24/7. Remember, if you become an annual member, you also get a year subscription to Paramount Plus. You get all the UFC fights, all the great shows. So, come on over.
Love it. Chip, you're the man.
Thank
Enjoy
you, Chip.
Tampa, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend.
Thank you, Chip.
Nice. The view.
Look at that.
Beautiful downtown Tampa Bay.
Go get you some crab legs today.
Oh, my God.
All right, fellas.
There he goes. Great Chip Brown. Horns247.com. Our Longhorns Insider. Our weekly Chop It Up with Chip segment presented by Cover 3, the best sports bar in town. 2 locations. I always talk about the Anderson Lane location because that's the one I go to, but don't forget about the Round Rock location too, right there off of Highway 35. The best sports bar there is. Great drinks, TVs everywhere, great service, but the food is what sets Cover 3 apart. The best menu at a sports bar that you are ever going to find. The Sean Adams prime rib sandwich is absolutely fantastic. The best sandwich I've ever had at a sports bar. They've got the brick chicken mac and cheese, which I love. Their brunch menu. It's not brunch menu. It's brunch menu on the weekend. is fantastic. They've got the do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar, something for everyone. Good times, good vibes. It's Dining Spirit Sports. Go see our friends at Cover 3.
And of course, our good friends over at Relax the Back, they embrace a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle. And myself and Arch, I mean, he was sitting in my chair last night for a little bit.
Whoa, you let him do that?
Yeah, I let him do that just for a little bit. That was right after Catchy Catch. So we love the folks over at Relax the Back. And folks, the zero gravity recliners, the Tempur-Pedic mattresses, pillows, they have it all. Select human scale office chairs, desk, all the accessories, and find an accessory that's going to fit you if you're not going to get a chair or a recliner. Find an accessory that makes your shoulders, your back, your lumbar area feel good. 2 great locations. One is at the Hill Country Galleria, right across the street from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center, across the street from the Container Store. Live free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Of our friends at Relax the Back. Shout out to them. Shout out to centextickets.com as well. The best place to find your Texas football tickets all season long. Of course, it's not just Longhorn football. They got every Longhorn sporting event. They got every sporting event. You want to catch a Round Rock Express game this summer? How about a Texas Volt softball game this summer? They've got you covered. centextickets.com. Plus concerts and comedy shows and festivals and Broadway shows and anything coming to Central Texas that you want to attend in person. They've got seats waiting for you right now. centextickets.com. Everything's 100% legit. No spam, no scams. Tickets are 100% guaranteed. And again, they've got everything that you need. Don't forget the promo code CENTEX10. If you type that in at checkout, you're going to get 10% off of any ticket purchase. No questions asked, from our great friends at centextickets.com.
Sweet.
Yes, indeed. And a quick shout out to Altstadt Beer. You can get some Altstadt Beer at Cover 3, both Cover 3 locations. You can get Altstadt Beer pretty much anywhere, all over the state of Texas. Your favorite bars, your favorite restaurants, they carry Altstadt Beer. Your favorite grocery stores, your favorite liquor stores, they're carrying Altstadt Beer with good reason. This is the best beer that you can find all throughout the Lone Star State. An award-winning beer from a brewery that has now been named Brewery of the Year twice here in 2026. If you're looking for something to do this summer, how about a trip down to the Altstadt Brewery in Fredericksburg? The place is massive, and there is so much to do and so much going on pretty much every single day. But again, in the meantime, you can get your Altstadt wherever you buy your beer. Tons of different brews. The lager's my personal favorite, but they got a Kolsch, they've got a Hefeweizen, they've got a Pilsner, they've got a great light beer, they've got a summer seasonal peach radler. Their Oktoberfest will be back soon, getting ready for the fall. Something for every beer drinker out there. Go get you some. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Our friends at Woods Comfort Systems reminds you that if you've got a problem with their air conditioning system and it's not running properly right now, give them a call. They've got all kinds of folks out there, engineers and technicians that will get to you and get your air conditioning up and running. You don't want anything going wrong now, because whatever it says, it feels like it is right now. So it is a hot day today. It's going to continue to be hot as Tropical Storm Bertha starts making its way towards us a little bit. I was thinking it was going to cool off, but it sounds like it's starting to warm up a little bit. And at Woods Comfort Systems, folks, they've been doing this for 70 years in Central Texas, and nobody does it better.
No, they don't. WoodsComfortSystems.com or call them at 512-842-5066. All right, let's dive back into the SEC Media Days conversation. And we're going to do something that might get us in trouble, but I really hope doesn't get us in trouble.
All right.
So as a esteemed member of the media, someone very professional like myself, who does things by the book, who has for a long, long time, I applied for and received a credential to attend SEC Media Days. Thought I was going to go for a while, decided not to. I don't know if it was laziness. I don't know if it was just not wanting to go to Tampa. Perhaps I don't have any money. Maybe it's a combination of all of those.
Hey, maybe you want to fend yourself away from those people from Auburn that think that they've got it going on.
I didn't really want to deal with Florida man or Florida woman. That's something that always concerns me. I'm a little nervous about taking trips to that state. So
even the Oles of Tampa can be scary.
The Oles of Tampa can be scary. Anybody or anything you run into in Florida has the potential to ruin your day and ruin your life. I think we know that with all the Florida man and woman and kid stories that we've had on this show. But even though I'm not there, because I was credentialed, I was sent the ballot for the preseason poll, and I get a vote on the projected order of finish, the all preseason SEC team, and the eventual SEC champion. That's big time. But I'm a humble guy, Buck. Probably the most humble guy that you'll ever meet in your life.
Well, one of them.
One of them, for sure. I'm not worthy of this vote, but I think you are. And I think the mullets in our audience are also worthy of a vote. So again, I'm hoping I'm not going to get in trouble for this, but we are going to go 16-1 projected order of finish in this conference, fill out the order and who we think is ultimately going to win the SEC title here in 2026. And we will cast this ballot. And we always call ourselves a show of the people. This is the most show of the people thing anybody has ever done. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the all conference team. That will take too long. But here's the screen share. And again, I hope I don't get in trouble for this one, Buck. But we'll go 16-1. We'll start at the back and give the Bucky and BK projected order of finish here in the SEC in the year of our Lord 2026. Okay. So I'll open it to you and our audience. Who do you think finishes dead last in the conference this season?
Arkansas.
Yeah. Not going to fight back too much on that one. I think all of the preseason magazines have the Razorbacks finishing dead last in the league. They were terrible last year. First-year head coach Ryan Silverfield. I mean, go talk to an Arkansas fan. They're not even excited. At the offseason, usually everybody has hope. For a lot of teams, It's like, why? You shouldn't have hope. You're not going to be good. Arkansas football fans are like, no, we know we suck. It ain't happening. They were 2-10 last year, lost their final 10 games of the year, didn't win a game in the SEC. We're going to go Arkansas at number 16. How about number 15, Buck? I think that one was pretty easy. Perhaps this one a little bit more difficult.
I'll go Mississippi State.
You go Mississippi State. They almost beat Texas last year.
I know.
They finally won a conference game for the first time in like 3 years when they beat Arkansas, funny enough. So you're going Mississippi State. You think they're worse than Kentucky?
Yes.
I feel like that's kind of your consensus bottom three this year.
Yes, it is.
All right, so you'll go Mississippi State. And if anybody has any qualms, feel free to hit us up on the Coda text line, 512-222-9328, or the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chats. So we got Mississippi State at 15. Our guy Rex is saying Vanderbilt should be there.
Well, they're at 13, so.
They're at 13. So are you going Kentucky at 14?
I'm going Kentucky at 14, Vandy at 13.
Okay. All right, so you're out on Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia,
I've been out on them. I've been out on them. It's time for them to get back to reality and start getting back to class and getting some bridges built, these engineers. Quit messing around with football.
The lovable losers were loved by everybody except for Bucky, I think.
Yeah.
Although Diego Pavia, with his personality, I think people kind of stopped loving them towards the end. So, all right, you got Kentucky at 14 with former Texas and Lake Travis assistant Will Stein taking over.
Yeah, but because of him, just because of him, they're at 14.
Oh, they would have been at 16 if it wasn't for how good of a coach he was.
If he wouldn't have said that, he would have been at 16. Okay.
So Vandy at number 13. All right, now we go to number 12.
The team that really thinks that they're very, very special, that would be, the team that's going to get a new coach anyway, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. South Carolina is an interesting team to me. There's no SEC coach on a hotter seat than Shane Beamer.
It's going to be too much for him.
2 years ago, South Carolina was 9-3. They almost made the playoff.
That's right.
There were a lot of people projecting them to at least be in the playoff conversation last year. I think they started the season ranked in the top 15 in the AP poll.
With a Heisman quarterback. Heisman candidate at quarterback.
Who is back.
Yeah.
Lenore Sellers does return. All right. This is your poll. I'm a little higher on South Carolina, I think, than you are, but I'm not worthy of this vote. We'll see if the people have anything to say. South Carolina at number 2. So you're basically saying you think Shane Beamer gets fired this year?
Yes, I do.
Does he survive the season?
All right, what are those early schedule games that he can beat up on? South Carolina State, Appalachian State College of Missouri. I mean, he's got to have a couple of those.
They have Kent State and Towson in week 1
Yeah,
and 2.
okay. 2-0.
Their first SEC game is Mississippi State at home. They probably should win that one.
Yeah, there you go. They're 3-0.
They go to Bama week 4, probably not winning that.
No.
Then they get Kentucky at home week 5. Like they could start 4-1.
Wow.
And then it obviously gets a little tougher for them as the year goes along.
I mean, they lose like 6 straight.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did last season. All right, South Carolina at number 12. How about number 11, projected order of finish in the SEC, filling out a preseason ballot?
I'm going to put in the Auburn Tigers right there.
You don't like Auburn very much.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Even when we weren't in the SEC and I watched SEC football, I always rooted for Alabama to beat Auburn.
That feels kind of communist of you.
Yeah, because I just beat, then again, when I was at Boston College, we beat Auburn.
Yeah. Auburn fans have the
With
most
Bo
ridiculous.
Jackson.
What?
I think we beat them with Bo Jackson in a
Wow.
bowl game.
Oh, no one cares. It's the SEC. It was a meaningless bowl game. Why are you bragging about that?
You mean it didn't mean anything then either?
No, it just means less. That's the SEC in bowl games. We know the deal. Come on, man. Don't be giving yourself credit for that. Yeah, Auburn fans, I'm going to give A&M fans a compliment here. They're more realistic than Auburn fans are.
I agree with you.
Every year, Auburn fans think like they're going to be an SEC contender and they should be in the college football playoff and this, that, and the other. And they haven't had a winning season since 2020. And my fear with Alex Golesh is they're not going to give him enough time to actually build things. They gave Brian Harsin 2 years. They gave Hugh Freeze 2.5 years. Now, I don't think either of those guys were good coaches. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been fired, but they're not going to give Alex Golesh a lot of time. They expect to be with Alabama every single year, and nothing in their history says that they should be.
You're absolutely right. But they do it. I've been around them. We've been to media day to listen to those guys.
So we were there, in Dallas 2 years ago, going into Texas's first season in the league, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are going to learn how hard it is here. You got to deal with schools like Auburn. Y'all are lucky you don't have to play us this season." And it's like,
I know.
What does Texas do? They go to the SEC title game, and year 1, they're 13-3 in the league in their 2 seasons. And what the hell is Auburn doing?
Auburn's still changed. They've changed 2 coaches since.
Auburn was 1-7 in the SEC last year. Their coach was playing more golf because he hated them so much. Didn't want to coach the team. He'd rather play 18 every single day. Ridiculous fan base.
Yeah, they're high on their. They want to be Alabama so bad.
Yeah, they do. And look, there's a little brother syndrome there. Texas A&M has it in this state. Oklahoma State has it in the state north of us. It's how it goes when you're second fiddle in your state. And Alabama too, with Nick Saban, all the success that they had recently, that obviously twists the knife so much more for Auburn fans. But yeah, their expectations are too high every single season, I think. All right, so you're at Auburn at 11. We go into the top 10 now. Who you have at number 10?
Missouri. Who are they anyway?
What do you mean by that?
What is that? That's a football program at Missouri. Aren't they like a basketball school?
I think we're going to listen to the people here because we got too many votes for South Carolina. I think South Carolina's too low. So I'm going to move South Carolina up in a moment. But I don't know. Mizzou is – I don't know what school they are. They're not very good at basketball. They're never good at baseball. They're always dead last in the SEC. So of the big 3, I guess football's their best.
Yeah, they walked into the conference and won a couple. Didn't they win their division second year?
Yeah, their first 2 years in the league, they played for the SEC title. In 2023, they were 11-2. They beat Ohio State in a bowl game, meaningless. But 10-3 in 2024, 8-5 in 2025.
Well, I'm putting them there deeper than I'm going to put Florida.
I'm swapping South Carolina and Auburn. Okay, Mizzou at 10. All right. Yeah, what is Mizzou? Who is Mizzou? Who are Mizzou?
Yeah, what are Mizzou?
Their best player got shot in the offseason.
Yeah,
Hopefully
so
he's
they're
okay.
just wondering, hopefully he's going to be okay to play.
Yeah. Well, Eli Drinkwitz told us the other day that he will be, so that's good for them. Obviously good for the kid, good for everybody. That was a messy situation. I'm glad he's all right. All right, so what about number 9? It gets tougher the further up you get.
I'm going to have to go with the Gators.
Florida. Man, I don't know what to do with Florida. I never know what to do with Florida. It's like
that's why they should be 10 or 9.
Well, it's like Texas from last decade, or it's like they're going to be expected to do really well. It wouldn't surprise me if Florida's ranked in the top 25 to start the year, despite going 4-8 last season and firing their coach.
Oh my God.
They always have talent. They hit the portal hard. Like, it's Florida. So I feel like we're supposed to assume they're going to be good, but it just, again, like Texas in the 2010s, they can't figure it out. So is John Summerall actually the guy?
Yeah, you're right.
Out of the hump? They got enough talent to finish in the top 5 in this league, I think. But they were 4-8 last year. They were one of the worst teams in the league. So putting them middle of the pack feels pretty fair.
Okay.
I think I'd have them a little lower, to be honest with you, because I don't trust their quarterback situation, but we'll go with number 9. Who's at number 8?
Ooh,
that's the first sigh we've heard from the Buck.
Yeah, that's where it starts to get a little crazy.
You got LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, A&M, Oklahoma, Tennessee.
I'll put Tennessee at 8.
Yeah, that feels fair. I think of those teams I just rattled off, I think Tennessee's probably the worst. Again, we talked about them a lot yesterday. Obviously, we'll be paying a lot of attention to them in the first month of the season. We know the Longhorns SEC opener is in Knoxville, breaking in a new quarterback again. Lost a lot of talent from last year's team. They're always solid. They're always good. They recruit well. But that feels fair, and that might not be good for Josh Heupel if they finish 8th in the league. I think they expect better up there with that ugly shade of orange. Okay, into the top 7 as we fill out our SEC preseason media ballot.
This number 7 is the one that I just don't have anybody for. I know somebody's got to go in there.
Yeah. Could be A&M, could be Ole Miss, could be LSU, Oklahoma.
I will put A&M there.
Okay. I tend to agree with that. I think A&M takes a step back this year. They've got a much more difficult conference schedule. Talented team. I have my doubts about Marcel Reed, as do you. Yours are very well documented. They lose a lot on the offensive line, lose some talent at running back, lose their best wide receiver. The NFL draft hit them pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think A&M is better than Tennessee, but I tend to agree. I think they're worse than the 6 teams that we have not placed.
Okay, here's where it gets scary. I'm going to put number 6, BK. I switch this up. I'll put Alabama at number 6.
Whoa, Alabama at number 6.
And I'll put – what is it? Yeah, I know they played in the playoffs last year, but
so you're out on the Crimson Tide. If they finish, we're not getting 6 SEC teams in the playoff this year. So you think for the second time in 3 years as their head coach, Kalen DeBoer misses the college football playoff.
Till I see them run the ball, I'm just
they
not.
They didn't run it last year, and they made it. There's no way the way we talk about Texas's run game, there's no way it's as bad in 26 as it was in 25. And I feel like it's the same with Alabama, don't you?
I think they'll find a runner.
All right. Well, you still got them number 6. So Alabama, you're lower on the Tide than I am, but you're the leader of the Mullets, so you get the final say. So into the top 5 in the SEC projected order of finish. Who's next?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Top 5 about OU.
Which one?
OU.
Okay. So do you think Oklahoma's a playoff team? I think you said yesterday when we were talking about the Sooners that you had them going 9-3, which obviously right on the edge.
Borderline. Yeah, that's kind of borderline, depending on how the voting goes.
Depending on how the voting goes. Yeah, how the committee goes. I'm going to be so ticked. Every year's different. I get it. But if 9-3 Texas last year didn't get in and a 9-3 OU this year gets in, you're not going to hear the end of it from me, and I know I won't be alone. All right, so OU number 5. So we've got Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, and LSU as the 4 teams that you have not selected.
I'll put Ole Miss next.
Okay. Ole Miss made it to the college football playoff semifinal last year. Tobago Chandler's back at quarterback. Kawan Lacey back at running back. Pete Golding taking over on a full-time basis. You think Ole Miss is a CFP team?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got 4 teams, it sounds like, in the Southeastern Conference in the field.
Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia, and Texas at number 1.
Rapid fire. So LSU at number 3.
Yep.
Georgia at number 2. And your Texas Long. Oh, no, I accidentally clicked A&M.
What?
I just put the curse. We could change it. Just changed it back. Oh, God.
Yeah, A&M 7.
What a horrible slip of the hand there on the little mouse. Oh, no. So Texas, number 1. All right, explain your top 3 then.
We're all in. First of all, we're all in on Texas. Let's go from number 1 to 3. Okay. We're all in on Texas, period. There's no excuses. There's the penalty stuff, all that other crap. No excuses for this year not to get it done with Arch Manning, in his final year at Texas. That's the way that is. Georgia, it's like Duke is Duke. Well, Georgia is Georgia. So they got to be number 2. They ain't going to be number 4. They would never be number 4 or 3 or anything else. And then I think Ole Miss still has enough, BK. They got a veteran quarterback. We'll see what the head coach is like when he's truly the head coach all the time. If that change doesn't bother him a little bit, I think they'll beat LSU.
Yeah. Well, you had LSU at number 3 ahead of Ole Miss. So explain your decision to put Lane Kiffin's squad as a top 3 team and a college football playoff team.
Well, they just got too much talent. By the way, the head coach is a pretty talented coach. I mean, I know he's just kind of coming into his own. He's weird, but he knows how to play the portal game, I think. Only reason I don't have them any closer than that is I just don't know how many – when you bring that many guys on your campus, it's not going to be done. I mean, I saw, their former coach with guys that have been on their campus and pretty talented not get it done. So when you bring in this many guys on your campus and you're Lane Kiffin, I think it'll take them 2 years.
Well, you say it takes them 2 years. You got them finishing top 3 in the deepest conference in the sport. Based on your projection, to me, you think
based on the talented players that they are bringing in,
right?
Maybe one of the great, portal classes of all time.
It is. It's the best portal class of all time. I mean, LSU, I've said it before, I'll continue to say it, the most polarizing team in the conference this year. They've got the wider range of projected records, I think, than any other team in this league. It would not surprise me if you're right, and they are a top 3 team in the SEC. It wouldn't surprise me that much if they're in Atlanta. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they go 8-4.
Yeah, I agree.
And it actually does take Lane Kiffin until year 2 to really get things wrong. I mean, some of the stuff, we talked about it with Chris Phillips yesterday of SEC Unfiltered, and he's not lying. I saw some of this on the SEC network, consuming all this coverage. You've got SEC analysts saying it's national title or bust for LSU this year.
Yeah, is that going to make Lane Kiffin's head come off his shoulders? I mean, is that too much for him to handle?
And look, some of this stuff Lane Kiffin brings upon himself with the way he talks and the way he tweets. He wants the smoke, it feels like. But that's just it's not a national title or bust for any coach in year one ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of smoke right there.
So, yeah, I mean, we know, the Cajun crazies are just that. We know what expectations are in Baton Rouge, but I don't think that fan base is thinking like that. And if they are, I'd caution them to stay off the boudin a little bit.
Where did I put Ole Miss? 4?
You've Ole Miss at 4. Yes.
Okay. That game is so important, that early season game.
Huge game. Week 3, LSU at Ole Miss. It will be the craziest atmosphere in the sport this season, bar none.
Is that a lot of pressure on both coaches? That's a lot of pressure on the new coach that's at Ole Miss. We try to, it seems like everybody tries to put it all on Lane Kiffin. But for the guy who just getting the job now at Ole Miss, boy, they're not going to be happy if they go there and LSU throttles them at home after all this stuff that Lane Kiffin's done. How about the pressure on that guy?
I need to ask an Ole Miss fan or an Ole Miss analyst this, but I think that Ole Miss would rather go, 8-4.
Okay, yeah.
If they win over LSU, then go like 10-2, lose to LSU, and lose in the playoff in the first round.
I think you're right. I think for a first-year guy there, they go 8-4, and everything. They lose a couple close games, but they go 8-4, and they beat LSU. I think people would be so much more satisfied. I mean, it would be huge for their fan base.
That's such a big game,
and huge for his job.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think he's fine. I don't think he's getting canned after this year.
I don't either.
They like him enough, and he's the guy who stayed, kind of.
Right.
We'll see. But that's a massive game for both teams. Obviously, LSU wants to win it. That fan base wants to win it. Lane wants to win it. But for Ole Miss, that is their Super Bowl. That is their game this season. So, yeah, week 3. We'll find out early. College game day is going to be there. It's going to be spectacular.
Well, what about the Texas, Georgia? I mean, am I out of my mind to have them as number 1?
I mean, I wouldn't have it. Do I think you're out of your mind? No. I think there are going to be a lot of people around the conference, and not just folks who cover Texas, who are going to pick the Longhorns to win the league this year. So, I mean, Georgia's the Vegas favorite right now. Texas is right behind them to win the league. Those two teams, when the real poll comes out on Friday, they're going to be 1-2. And I would expect Georgia to be number 1, slightly ahead of Texas. But again, the Longhorns are going to get a lot of first-place votes. You're not out of your mind for thinking that this is the year with all the talent that Steve Sarkisian has accumulated.
Yeah, and for me, I think I know what to expect offensively now from Sark. And with 2 good running backs and the offensive line being the real mystery still. No matter what, they're a mystery except for left tackle. So I don't know what to expect. Defensively, Will Muschamp, he's been an analyst. He's been some different things. It's been a while since he's controlled the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I watched, PK do it, and I thought he did it pretty well until the middle of last year when it started to, they started to get a little light in the britches there. I don't know what to expect because I don't know how Will Muschamp is on the field getting it done now. You know what I'm saying? I know he's going to work hard. I know he's going to be – I know what to expect from him and the way he coaches and his behavior and what he does with the players and how they love him and all that. But does it get through to these guys when you're actually out there now? You're not in the classroom, the analysts, and doing some other things that he's been doing the last couple of years. Yeah,
well, let's get into Will Muschamp because that's a great segue. Because one of the Georgia players who was there in Tampa yesterday was asked about Will Muschamp, and he talked about some of those things that you just talked about, kind of what he learned from Coach Boom during his time in Athens. Mm-hmm. Real quick, though, because we do have the projected order of finish. Also, you pick your SEC champion prediction. So, you could have, Texas finishing first in the conference, Georgia finishing second in the conference, but Georgia winning the SEC or vice versa. So, just want to be clear, you've got Texas actually winning the SEC championship, not just being the number 1 seed.
No, winning the championship, winning the SEC championship.
Okay. How about this disclaimer? Your SEC champion selection must also be ranked first or second in projected order of finish. You won't be able to submit, I guess some dumbass is like, I'm going to pick Vandy 15th and then pick them to win the conference. So they had to throw that little disclaimer there. All right. So there you go. Hopefully we don't lose our jobs for that. But there is the Bucky and BK preseason projected order of finish in the SEC.
Yeah, and I really think that the teams like, as we said before, teams like Mississippi State, I mean, that's they're gonna be trying hard. They'll win a couple games here or there. Like you said, they just finally won a conference game last year. But South Carolina, Beamer is on the hot seat. He's got to win a bunch of games. I believe 7 games ain't going to do it for him this year. They're going to be after him with that quarterback. Would this be the 3rd year with him or the 3rd year?
I think year 3 for Lenore Sellers.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he started every game 2 years ago. I know he played 2 years ago, but yeah, and it wasn't all his fault last season. Their offensive line was terrible, and they had a bunch of injuries, and it wasn't all on Sellers. But yeah, no, I should have sold my Lenore Sellers stock last year, but now it's the dip. You're buying the dip if you believe in him and if you believe in the fake USC this year. All right, so we'll get into some Texas football conversation. We got some sound from Georgia linebacker Raylan Wilson talking about Will Muschamp, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Longhorns here. But before we shift gears, Buck, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, if you are seeking specialized patient-focused orthopedic care, contact the experts and our friends at Texas Orthopedics. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and, once again, non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults. Rehabilitation, first thing on their mind is the rehab and injury that you have before they start cutting away. Spinal care, sports medicine, trauma care, joint replacement, and more. Dr. Christopher Danny, Dr. Christopher Stockton are dedicated orthopedic surgeons there. Their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve and that you want. But the rehab is very important for those that think all they do is start cutting you up. But when they have to cut you up, that's the place that you want to be for sure. For more information, please go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. And a shout out to McCall Custom Homes as well. Custom home builders and remodelers here in Central Texas. If you're thinking about a dream home, you want to start from scratch, McCall Custom Homes, they are the people to call. If you're thinking about major renovation projects, McCall Custom Homes, they are the people to call. It's a father-son team with more than 4 decades of combined experience here in Central Texas. They're A+ rated by the BBB. They've got tons of 5-star reviews online. They are the very best at what they do and the people that we trust with our homes, and we think you should as well. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com. That's the website. They're offering free estimates for Bucky and BK listeners right now. You can check out their website, look at the gallery of projects they've done over the years, maybe to get some ideas for your place. And then when you're ready for that custom home build or that big-time renovation, 512-633-9580. That's Mike McCall's direct line. Call him, text him. He will get back to you. It's our friends at McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Of course, our friends over at Sue Patrick, Jay, and the gang, tons of Texas-themed items, gifts, books. They have all the clothing that you're looking for, a wide variety of men's and women's clothing. Got to check out the new bowling shorts that they've got over there. And, of course, the fighting hat right there. That's the hat that'll make you fighting mad. Well, not if you're a Longhorn fan, but if you're any other fan, hey, please take that to the Tennessee game. I'd love to see a couple of you wearing that. And
you could spear somebody with this thing, man.
For sure. We love the hats and caps and shorts and golf accessories that they have, of course, over at Sue Patrick. Folks, they have $59 or more on online orders, free online orders right there, free pickup. How about this? Free curbside pickup. They got tons of parking space there. And you don't want to be running around when it's 103 out and wondering how many blocks do I have to park so I can get free parking. Well, you've got all the free parking you want right there, right in front of Sue Patrick's, of course. And they've got the Jellycats. They've renewed all the Jellycat stuff, tons of that. And folks, Sue Patrick is wonderful. When you go back, say hello to Sue. She'll be back in the back. Do stop by and see her because she can't wait to talk with you. 50 years of service in Central Texas. Go to SuePatrick.com for more information.
Yes, indeed. All right.
This hat is starting to fade out a little bit.
I've got to put an end to this. You either have to back up or lower your screen a little bit because we're not even seeing your whole head. I try to make some social media clips for the show, and no one's going to see you. You'll be a ghost on those things.
There's the catch guy, though, right there.
There's Arch Manning. You got to trim the legs a little bit. So
no, I'm going to have to. I've been told already, do not cut that Don't cut him in half.
Just bend him. I don't know. Like, what do you?
I don't know if you can bend him and then get his little legs to work again, though. Maybe I can get a couple sticks there.
You could stand up and do the show.
Hell no. Then it'll show how tall I am.
Exactly. I'd have no problem standing up next to the cardboard cutout of Arch Manning.
We're gonna get another one of these so I can cut it in there. Plus, my wife would like to see that. She said, "I've got to see this thing." She goes, "Do not cut that before I see it."
That's too good. That is too good. Shout out to Sue Patrick. I wonder if they're going to start selling those things out there.
Well, I think, Jay, it means that when we come over there and do a remote, that needs to be a part of the team, sitting in one of the chairs, sitting in a chair beside us.
We'll have a travel arch for sure. Red Bull's going to have to give us some royalties for all of that. Oh, my goodness. All right. Love our friends at Sue Patrick. So, Buck, let's talk about Texas football, and let's talk about Will Muschamp, because that is a question that I think a lot of Longhorn fans have going into the 2026 season. Obviously, Texas fans familiar with Coach Boom from his first stint in Austin from 2008 to 2010. And, I mean, he's one of the most accomplished defensive coordinators in the 21st century. Now, his stops as a head coach in the SEC, not very good, but as a defensive coordinator, he's been a part of some elite coaching staffs. I think of his time at LSU as an assistant for Nick Saban back in 2003. Obviously, the Longhorns played for a national title in 2009. They should have played for one in 2008. Texas had one of the best defenses in the country. And from 2021 to 2025, Will Muschamp was an assistant on Georgia's coaching staff. They won 2 national titles. They've been one of the best programs in the sport. They've had an elite defense. And obviously, Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning and Glenn Schumann deserve probably more of the credit, but Will Muschamp has been a big part of their staff. I want to get to this sound from Georgia linebacker Raylan Wilson. It was Georgia Day yesterday in Tampa, and Raylan Wilson, one of the best linebackers in the league, was asked about Will Muschamp and just the impact that Coach Boom had on him during his time in Athens. Here's Georgia linebacker Raylan Wilson.
Muschamp, man, that was my dog. He used to always come in practice smiling, yelling, trying to make people laugh. But he was a serious dude at the same time. He'd be quick to like flip the switch on you or rip you if you do some messed ups. Like if you mess up play, he's pretty much just like Coach Smart. But yeah, he taught me and really, because the young guys, he was there for a year with the young guys. But I'd say I learned a lot from him, just little nuggets in football, like anticipating plays. He's taught me a lot since being at Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, he has his way with players. I mean, he can put his arm around them at 1 minute and then be, cussing them through one ear and going out, just inside your brain. He knows how to coach. None of that stuff has left him from probably being in the classroom to the field where he can spend time now. I mean, all he's doing is sharpening up his skills as a coach right now. So I would think that guys that have been with him, have heard him before and know his coaching style. It hadn't changed. It really hadn't.
No, I mean, that's the thing that I just heard from Raylan Wilson there. It sounds exactly like the things I've heard from Texas players who were coached by Will Muschamp back in the aughts. It's like, he's a great guy. He's got an infectious personality. He'll love you. But if you screw up, he's going to let you hear it.
Oh, yeah, you got to be accountable for it when you screw up.
Yep. And we saw some of that at the Fan Day open practice at the end of spring football this year. I mean, you didn't have to be inside the walls of DKRTMS to hear Coach Boom. You could have been 2 miles away from the stadium and you could have heard Coach Boom yelling. So he's a relationship builder, and he'll be your best friend. But if you screw something up, like you said, he will hold you accountable. He will let you have it. And I liked hearing, because if you look at, Will Muschamp's Wikipedia page, he was just a defensive analyst the last 2 years in Athens. And you see that, and you're like, was he even there? Like, what was he really doing? Was he involved at all? It sounds like he was right there every single day at practice coaching up the defense. So, it wasn't his defense. It's obviously Kirby Smart, and Glenn Schumann's been the DC the last couple of years. I understand that. But this was not just a guy who showed up on game days and he'll be there when he wants to be there. This is a guy who was involved. This is a guy who was coaching up players. And this was a guy who was making that Georgia defense better. And again, that's the team you and everybody else is trying to chase in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like the guy who can make you better as an assistant coach because he's been so good at being one himself, a coordinator, a head coach at times, and just a regular old assistant. I mean, so he's done all three of those things. So he's got some skills, and he's got a way of handling players that they understand that, it's not all about being your buddy. It's about kicking you in the ass when you need it and really making that foot stick all the way up to the kneecap. I mean, it sounds like he can stick his foot in your rear end and get it pretty far when it matters.
For sure.
A lot of guys get kicked in the butt and then they still go about doing things their way. But he seems like the kind of guy that when he puts his foot in there, it gets kind of caught up,
Well, it's the quote that you always say, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right. And that does show you how much they care.
I think with Will Muschamp, a lot of people they know about the whiteboard incident.
Right.
And they hear this guy, they see him on the sidelines and he's constantly yelling and going nuts. And I think a lot of people out there are just like, this guy's a psycho. He's always like this. He's just loud and annoying and obnoxious. And there's no way his players like him. He's too much. And he's not like that.
No, he unlike a guy like Tom Herman, that guy's just stupid. That's just dumb. Some of the stuff he did it was agonizing probably to the players themselves. This guy doesn't agonize you. He's going to make you better. Some of the antics that a guy like Tom Herman does, whether he's an assistant or a head coach, they just aggravate you. It doesn't make you do anything better.
I've never seen Will Muschamp French any of his players.
He's not going to do that.
I hope to never see anything like that. So, yeah, look, Will Muschamp still got that fire. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's 54 years old here. People are talking about him like he's late 60s, early 70s. Is he still good enough to do this? Does he still have the energy? We saw it in the spring. We're seeing it on the recruiting trail. And I think we're going to hear about it and see it more in fall camp. And obviously we're going to see it in the season. And Sark this wasn't a defense that needed a total makeover. They're not trying to go from bad to good, but Sark was looking for a head coach of the defense. And I think he was also just looking for an identity change, kind of a new face of the way they operate on that side of the ball. And I think Coach Boom is definitely going to do just that. It's going to be a more aggressive bunch. It's going to be a more violent bunch. You're going to see more animosity on the sideline. And I think that's what Sark was looking for. Now the question is it going to work?
Yeah. More so for me, yeah. Is it going to work? Because, as I said, I enjoyed watching this Texas team over the last 3 years play defense, except for the latter part of last year. They just kind of lost the edge a little bit, Yeah. Injuries really changed things. And I'm like, things when you're this good, they shouldn't be changing that much, And that's, I want to see if he has that kind of edge where they talk about him having an edge. Our player is going to be that mentally tough and ready to go in those times where it gets late in the season, you're playing 9 games in conference. Are you still there in game number 11 or 12? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have that same fire you had in game 1 and 2 when you're playing against Ohio State? Are you still at that point? And I'm not saying that PK didn't have that the years before. He just didn't have it last year at the end of last. That dude did some great things, I thought, defensively over the years that he was here. So yeah. I expect if you've made this change, we need to see this change.
Yeah, you're not trying to take a bad defense and make it good. You're trying to make a good defense and make it great.
There you go. You're right.
And, it was great in 2023 and 2024, but it was not great last year. It's still top 25 in the country. It wasn't horrifically bad, but it took.
And we talk about other phases of the team. If we can only get them in the top 25, but as a whole, they're in the top 25 on defense. And, the head coach wasn't satisfied. Well, that's what happens when you're all in. You're not satisfied with the top team in the top 25, then it's got to be better.
All right. And we take this national title or bust for this year's team.
Right.
And I think I won't speak for anybody else. I'm going to take Sark at his word when he said he felt like he was spending too much time on the defense last year.
Yes.
And he wanted to bring in somebody who he could literally just say, you are the head coach of the defense. You do everything. Let me focus on my offense. It hasn't been good enough. That's Sark saying my side of the ball has not been good enough. I need to maybe spend more time to allow us to reach our full potential, meaning I've got to bring somebody in that I don't need to babysit a little bit.
Yeah,
And
I need to do things to make it that my offense isn't a penalty-laden offense either.
right.
That's a part of why I'm going to
Yeah,
go.
it's the offense has to be better in every facet of the game. And I didn't think Sark was babysitting PK. I'm not there every single day, so I don't know what was happening. Like, for my gauge on the program the last 5 years while both of them have been here, it kind of felt like PK was the head coach of the defense and Sark sort of gave him free reign, but clearly Sark felt like something had changed down the stretch to where he felt like he had to make this move. So he's going to be held accountable. We all expect the offense to be better. And like you said, the defense has been the more consistent part of this football team over the last 3 years. That can't take a major step back, or else we're going to hold Steve Sarkisian accountable.
Right.
So he took a risk. He definitely took a risk. Not everybody was clamoring. More people were asking for Kyle Flood to get fired or Sark to give up offensive play calling than for Pete Witkowski to get shown the door. Yet Sark made that move. It better work.
I agree.
So there you go. But I liked hearing a couple of Georgia players have some high praise for Will Muschamp in his time in Athens yesterday.
Yeah, he's not going to be a guy who sits behind a desk and analyzes a bunch of stuff and give you a bunch of paperwork. He wants to be involved. He wants to talk. He wants to talk in the meetings. He wants to be there. That's what he's been doing at Georgia. He's been lending his insight to what he sees in the practice field against other teams. He's not just standing there analyzing, turning sheets over to Kirby Smart and saying, here you go. No, he's talking to him. He's at practice.
Yeah, I think we would have heard. I don't think these Georgia players are making up stories. I think, if Raylan Wilson was asked about Will Muschamp and Muschamp wasn't actually there, he's like, yeah, I didn't really know him that well. Like, he wasn't around all that often. Seemed like a good guy and helped me with the thing here. That he compared him to Kirby Smart. He's like, he's just like Kirby, which, all right, well, we like that because that's the coach we can't beat. So,
yes,
if you can't beat him, hire him. Obviously, you can't hire Kirby Smart, but bringing somebody in. Don't think that didn't play a role into Steve Sarkisian's decision here. Like, let me try to steal some things from that defense that has been a big problem for us.
No doubt.
Over these last few seasons. So plenty of reasons to be excited about Will Muschamp. His track record speaks for itself, but I do think it's fair to, again, just because we haven't seen it, anytime you have a first-year coach, first-year coordinator, is it going to work? Plenty of reasons to believe that the answer is yes, but we'll all find out together 45 days from now against Texas State. That's a power conference team. Don't forget Texas State. I keep saying
you're not just playing anybody from down and around the bend here. Okay, this is Texas State.
It's the Pac-12, dude. They got an invite to the Pac-12. Remember, Texas almost joined the Pac-12 a long time ago. We couldn't get it done, and yet Texas State.
They had numerous teams in the Pac-12.
Hey, they got 8. That's numerous. They have 8 teams this year.
Yeah, but they got a lot of states in there.
They're all states. Every single football school is a state, including states that aren't states like Boise and Fresno.
What a conference.
Well, it's a trivia question down the road. Who was Texas State's first opponent when they played in the Pac-12? It'll be Texas.
That's awesome.
And then everyone's going to leave trivia because they'll wonder why the hell you asked that question. No one cares.
Why would you ask us that question?
Why would you ask us that question? Yep, Texas State and Texas. 45 days from now, just the second all-time meeting and the first since 1930 between the two schools that are separated by just 30 miles.
That's why you play these teams, folks. You play the Texas States, the UTSAs. You help out schools that are in your state that your coaches have respect for their other coaches, and they want to help their programs. They want to give them $1 million or so or more than that to come up and play you so that you can pound their faces in. But $1 million to those programs is huge.
For sure. I'm surprised it hasn't happened more often with all the in-state schools that Texas typically plays. Now, for a while, Texas State was an FCS team, and we know Texas doesn't like playing them, but they've been an FBS team long enough to where I'm a little surprised it's taken this long to get the Bobcats on the schedule, but I don't know. They're not a part of the UT system, I guess.
Yeah.
So like UTSA, UTEP, those kinds of schools are a part of
they played Sammy Houston too, right?
Yeah, Sam Houston, I guess. But they haven't played Sam Houston in a long time before last year. So and they were an FCS team until a few seasons ago.
That's true. They just joined.
I think Sam Houston's the last FCS team that Texas played, and that was back in the 2000s. It had been that long since they had played. I don't know. It'll be fun for a lot of folks.
Yeah, just be careful. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
With Texas State?
Wow. Look out for the Bobcats. Sick them.
Sounds like you're now worried about that. I can't get a read on you. Some days you're worried about them. Some days you're not. Some days it sounds like you're thinking Texas will lose that, but beat Ohio State. I don't know.
They're going to beat Ohio State. That's a must win. They're going to win.
I would say Texas State is more of a must win if you're going to use that overused phrase than Ohio State.
That's a walk in the park.
Okay.
That's getting everybody all juiced up for the following week.
All right, there's your real answer there. I just wanted
yeah,
to get
there's
that.
a real answer. Got to watch out for the other UT. That's the one I'm worried about.
UTSA.
No, the ones in the conference, that fake UT.
Tennessee. Yep. That'll be a big one as well.
Boy, that's, you know what? I mean, and this group has been to some nice stadiums and big places. That place will be fired up, BK. I don't care about the checkerboard, but that place at night, wow.
Well, it won't be at night, so that's the good news.
Is that a 2:30 game?
11.
Oh, that's right. That's that early morning tilt.
Yeah.
Texas has been pretty good in the morning.
That stuff is so overblown to me.
Just go play the game. You're like me. Just go play.
I don't care. Like, Texas lost to Ohio State at 11 a.m. last year.
Yes.
Everybody was like, thank God it's not a night game. Now they lost. Texas lost to Florida at 2:30. Thank God it's not a night game in this. They lost. It does not matter what time of the day the game is. That's so overblown. Tired of hearing
Just go play the game.
Fans are going to be drunk. They're going to be loud. You think it's not going to be a sellout at Neyland because it's at 11 a.m.? Are you kidding me?
No, and you don't think they'll be drunk from the night
They'll
before.
be hammered. Like, I don't understand why that's such a, we've just become lazy as media and fans.
Well, I think it's more about the players. It's more about the atmosphere and the scene.
It's the same. They're going to be wearing the same checkerboard clothes. They're going to be loud. It's going to be a sellout.
Yeah,
like,
you're just getting up a little earlier. Your body.
Yeah. You gotta punish your liver a little bit earlier. That's what happens as a fan.
Well, I mean, just as a player and a coach, those early games are a little bit different. As a player, you see, 110,000 at night, and you've had all day to think about the game and everything else. 11 o'clock gets on you in a hurry.
Well, Sark says he loves the 11 a.m. games.
Well, they've done well enough at 11 o'clock.
Texas lost 3 games last year, one at 11, one at 2:30, and one at night. 2 years ago, they lost 2 games. Or I guess they lost 3 games if you include the playoff. They lost to Georgia at night in the regular season, and they lost to Georgia at 2:30 in the SEC championship game, and then I guess the Cotton Bowl was a night game. So, it's just a few years ago, they lost to Oklahoma at 11 a.m. It does not matter.
For me, it's more so the atmosphere kind of too.
First
time in a long time. I know. It's football. Who cares if they play the game at 8 a.m.?
Yeah. It changes your routine, but it does not change how loud the fans are going to be.
Oh no, they're just going to be just as loud at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Tennessee fans and Texas fans making the trip. Yeah, you got to wake up earlier. It sucks. You start drinking earlier. You're still going to get drunk. I have faith in y'all. You're still going to be loud. I have faith in y'all.
Once again, I'm not worried about the fans. I don't care about how they are.
You keep saying atmosphere and environment. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, for a young man playing in those games, I mean, a night tilt, you've never been to Neyland Stadium. You've never seen what that. I know you've been, like I said, you've been to big places. You've been in the SEC. You know what it's like to play in big places. That place is a little bit different. That place is a monster.
Yeah, I get it. It's going to be monstrous at 11 a.m., I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's first road game of the year. That always worries you a little bit. Yeah, Texas has never played at Neyland. So it's not just new for the players. It's new for all the fans. Just watching, regardless if you're making the trip. You've never seen the Longhorns play in a game.
They don't get to drop the ball. They get to be there and cheer and, like you say, get drunk and have a party.
Just stay up from Friday night. Who cares? Just keep it rolling.
Keep that thing going.
Saturday after the game. I don't care. There's BK's rant of the day. Shout out to our guy Rod Babers for that one. All right, we'll get to the BBK news here in a moment. Sorry to hijack that. That was random. Real quick, couple of sponsor shout outs. How about Early Bird CBD, Buck? No golf? Did you not play golf yesterday?
I did not. I was told not to. I did what I was told to do. I was too busy bringing in my little buddy here.
Oh, man. Well, it seems like Arch took some Early Bird because he's not talking today. He's pretty relaxed. He's pretty chill.
He did all this talking last night during Sports Center, talking about, hey, Sark, throw the ball. Throw the ball. He and I were watching some SEC stuff. But all he kept saying is, when's my coach coming up? Oh, by the way, I got to get to pack him on. He's got to get on a plane, doesn't he? Arch is up tomorrow, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Got to get him all. Got to call UPS and get him out of here.
Ship him out to Tampa. We'll have Chip pick him up and bring him out there.
have Chip pick him up at the airport.
Dude, that would have been. Now I wish I was there because I would have brought that as a bit out. And then when we got to talk to Arch Manning, be like, look what I got, dude.
How about you going through the airport with that underneath your arm and your baggage in the other hand running through the airport?
Yeah, the carry on. I'd have to buy a seat for him, I think. It's he's that big.
Yes.
Pay for an extra seat.
Yes, you would. You'd have to. Love those, though.
I do travel with these. I kid you not. And you can travel with these. You hear THC and you're like, am I going to get in trouble or are they going to confiscate my stuff? No, you can travel with Early Bird CBD. These things are completely legal. Of course, there's CBD, but also a microdose of THC in every single one of these gummies and every single one of these drops. Local company, their products are designed to make you feel good, and that's just what they do. To relax, to help you sleep, to help with some pain alleviation, whatever your reason, the drops are so good. Perfect for the summer. You're going to be drinking something. It's hot. Drop a couple of these in there, and you're going to get the special effects of Early Bird CBD. Use the promo code Bucky. You're going to get 20% off your first order from our great friends at earlybirdcbd.com.
Yes, sir.
And quick shout out to our guy, Dr. Chat, and his team at Sleep Cycle Centers. Speaking of sleep, maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night. If you struggle with sleep, and if you struggle talking during the day, maybe that means you're not getting enough sleep. Maybe I need to go see Dr. Chat.
Rest.
I was up way too late last night. But Sleep Cycle Center, look, they can make your snoring, your sleeping problems, any issue like that go away for good. More than 22 million Americans have undiagnosed sleep apnea. It's not just annoying. It's not, my partner snores, I'll just put in earplugs and I'll pass out. Get it taken care of. Tell your loved ones to get it taken care of. Your sleep is the most important thing that you have in this life. And Dr. Chad is here to make your sleeping problems go away forever. He lost his own father due to undiagnosed sleep apnea. That's why he's so passionate about fixing these problems. He doesn't want you and your family to go through anything close to that. Free consultations for listeners of this show. $100 off an at-home sleep study if you tell them you heard about it on Bucky and BK. 2 Austin area locations. Go see them. SleepCyclecenters.com for more info and to schedule that free consultation.
Love it.
All right, we'll get to the BBK news here. Man, this is a gross story, Buck, but we know you like it.
We have to tell it.
We know you like the gross stories here.
Of course I do.
You have shared some stories about your experiences with porta potties in the past, correct?
Yeah, I've had some pleasant and unpleasant stories with porta potties. It's always pleasant when I fulfill what I have to do. When I find one and I get to use it and nothing happens. It's always a really good experience. That's what porta potty is about. You either have a real good experience when you relieve yourself and you walk out of there without falling out of one, or nobody's turned it over, or you don't drop your phone in it, or your ring doesn't slip off your finger. There's a lot of things that can happen.
And you talk about the blue wave.
Oh, the blue wave. I mean, if the blue wave is a true blue wave, and it looks like how when you're sitting on the shore there down in Galveston, and the water comes in and it's really kind of evenly going across, and there's no lumps in it or no logs, floating around or any dead people. Yeah, it's okay experience.
Okay. So I'm not a Porta John guy. I'm a very clean person. I try to avoid those like the plague. Obviously, there are times where you have to. You're at ACL, you're at a tailgate, there's nowhere else to go. You can't take a leak in public at any of those places. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I should be able to just whip it out and pee anywhere. It's what I get as a guy. But I don't like the Porta-John. If I can avoid using one, I will.
And at this time of the year, BK, you don't want to even go in. Oh,
I'm smelling it right now from the comfort of my own home. I'm smelling a nasty, hot Porta-John. It's disgusting. Well, speaking of disgusting, we go up to Kansas City for this one. I thought about naming this or making this a Guess That State. But emergency responders were called to a scene last Wednesday to handle an emergency evacuation for somebody who got stuck in the basin of a porta potty.
basin means the bottom.
Yes, he was stuck inside the Porta-John, meaning you can't fall in. Like, the hole's not big enough. This guy intentionally jumped in to the bowl and got stuck down there. And I guess he had his phone with him. Thankfully, it was still working. Or maybe he was yelling and somebody heard him. But they had firefighters and EMS were called to the scene, and they had to cut a hole in the Porta-John to get this guy out.
Yeah, that dude is running from the cops. He's obviously trying to hide from somebody.
He had become wedged beneath the seat. Firefighters had to use specialized equipment to cut apart the structure and extract the man.
Hopefully they didn't put him inside of their cop cars after that. They made him walk to the cop station.
Well, they hosed him down.
Okay.
You've got fire trucks there with firefighters. Here's a picture for those of you tuned in of this guy like bending over, getting hosed down, phrasing there, to get cleaned up.
Just drinking from a fire hose, huh?
That would have been a lot cleaner than what he actually did. This is, again, you don't just fall into one of these things. I've been incredibly wasted, and I have not even close to falling into one. You have to intentionally go in there to get stuck in there. That's the nastiest fetish of all time, is it not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was hiding from somebody that, and when he went in there, all somebody would do is open up the door. They wouldn't then go and lift up the top to see if the dude jumped in, because nobody in their right mind, no cop in their right mind, even if a criminal was getting away from him, a cop wouldn't think of flipping up the toilet and looking down and seeing a fool in there. I mean, really?
Well, when the cops, I saw the video of this, and the sound wasn't good. It didn't make sense for us to play. But when the EMS workers got there, they're yelling at the guy, get up, get out of there, get out of there. And he's like, I can't, I'm stuck. So I don't think his plan was to get stuck. I think his plan was, I'm going to go down to the bottom of this and gross. I don't want to think about what
I'm just saying he's hiding from somebody. He was in big trouble before this.
Dude,
you don't take a shot and going down. That's not a fetish. I'm hiding for my life, or I'm about to go to jail for a long time. I'm not jumping into a pile of that stuff just because, I'm seeking some fun.
Take me to jail. Well, here's what I'm worried about. I think this guy did this. I don't think we have a name. I don't think we have any insight on whether or not he was running from the law or running from somebody. I think this guy's just a creep, like a perv, who wanted to look up and spy on some people when they used the porta.
No way. You know how dark it is?
Why else would you do that?
I'm telling you, he's getting away from the cop.
Go somewhere else.
Isn't that the ultimate getaway right there? Who's going to go in there and lift the toilet seat to see if there's somebody down? Who would think a fool would do that except
the ultimate getaway? Well, the ultimate getaway means you get away. He would have died down there. That's not the ultimate getaway. Well,
I'm pretty sure once he got down there, he was thinking, "Oh, this can't be that deep." I wonder how far he went up to. Oh, did he go to his chest or his neck? Oh,
Nasty.
He's the ultimate scat daddy.
Scat daddy, explain that.
I don't know. Like I told you, when I first got on my first time getting on the computer, somebody told me to go to scat.com or something like that. They said, you're going to find some interesting stories for sports. And I went there, and that was from my boy Lunchbox. Said, go in there, and then it was about people that had that kind of fetish.
I'm trying to think. The only reason I would ever even reach my hand down into one of those, let alone go all in, is if there was a winning lottery ticket that was dropped down there.
Only thing I'm doing is sticking my hand down there if there was a baby in there.
The hell, a baby can die. Give me the lottery ticket.
No. I'm just going in there to save a baby. That's it.
The baby, I'm calling for help for the baby. Somebody else get the baby.
No,
what am I going to do? If I jump in there to get the baby, then I'm stuck too. We're both stuck.
I'll get the baby. I'll save the baby. I'm not saving a wallet, rings, phones.
No, phone, wallet,
adults,
any material good, gone.
Adults, even old women. No, they're in. They're in for good. Only a baby on this one.
Mega Millions ticket. I'm diving head first in there. Anything else? Not a chance.
Dead.
Not a chance.
Come on, Scataboo.
Scataboo's in the news too.
What about that guy? What a clown. That guy is a clown. All these people that thought that guy is a goofball.
Yeah.
That is the goofiest thing I've ever heard. Man, I would have that if I would have that guy as the head coach in my office, or if I'm the general manager, the owner of that team, I'm like, dude, don't ever do another foolish thing like that, or you'll be gone. I'll find somebody else. I'll pay you your money. Get the hell out of here.
We will we'll save that for tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Cam Scataboo video that went viral, and also something he said that's just like something seriously wrong with this dude. Real quick, why today is not so bad. Happy birthday to George Clinton.
The Funkadelic Parliament's George Clinton?
Yes, sir.
80 what?
85 today.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Legend. Danny Glover.
Another one in the 80s, I got to believe.
Roger Murdahl. Yep, he is 80 on the nose.
There you go.
You've got Don Henley.
Don Henley, another in the 80s, late 70s.
79.
There you go. Getting close.
Drummer.
There you go, Buck.
Hall of Fame musician. Well done. What about David Spade? You got a guess on him?
52.
62.
Oh, my goodness. He's that old.
And Selena Gomez. These are all
Selena in her 40s, maybe late 30s.
God, she's 34.
Okay.
Make me feel old. A couple of sports birthdays. Hall of Famer Tim Brown.
There you go.
Keyshawn Johnson. How about Ezekiel Elliott? How old do you think Zeke Elliott is?
43.
Zeke Elliott? That's hilarious. I'm glad you answered it that way, because considering how irrelevant he's been in recent years, it feels like he's 31.
What?
Yes. Zeke Elliott was born in 1995. He's younger than I am.
Just seems like a long time.
Yeah. Welcome to running backs. Born on this day, now dead, Alex Trebek. R.I.P. And today is National Hammock Day. And
I'm not going outside. I'm not going in a hammock.
I love a hammock. It's too hot for that now, though. I've had hammocks inside places I've lived at in the past. That's how much I enjoy a good hammock. Yep. And then National Rat Catchers Day.
Ooh.
No. To celebrate.
That's weird. That's too weird.
Weird. That's too weird. All right. Well, that will do it for.
As a matter of fact, I prefer a good snake over a rat. Rats that's not good.
What do you mean, like prefer? Like you'd rather encounter one?
I would rather encounter, in a room a snake than a rat. I mean, I'm talking about a rat. I'm not talking about a mouse. I'm talking about a big ass rat.
I feel are snakes easier to catch than a rat? I feel like right?
Yeah,
Snakes
I
actually
think you can
do
get
more damage than rats.
Yeah, you get your foot on the head of a snake, and then work from that point on. Rat will squeeze around, squeeze up, get up your leg, get up your pant leg. Nah, I don't play. No rat games.
I don't like either. I think I'd rather encounter a rat, though. I mean, as nasty as that is, I know it's not going to kill me.
Remember, not all snakes kill. Not all
You're right.
snakes.
You're right. But if one's in your house and you don't get a good look at it and you're not sure.
Oh no, I'm not going over to it. I'm not. I see my snakes around my property. I've seen them. I can tell the difference between what they are.
Realistically, rat or snake, I'm not sleeping until that thing is dead or out of the house.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess one of them's more dangerous. Rat's grosser, I think, but snake's more dangerous. Either way, you're staying awake until you find that son of a gun.
Oh, definitely a rat. I mean, a snake, I may be able to sleep. If I know there's a rat in the room that it got out and it got, and I opened up the sliding glass door and a rat came in, dude, I'm tearing the whole place apart.
I'm with you, dude. Oh, God. All right. Well, that will do it. Fun Wednesday show. Thanks to Chip Brown for joining us. Hopefully the SEC doesn't revoke. And we're not even going to media days, so I guess they can revoke us. But fun show today. We'll be back tomorrow. Plenty to dive into. It'll be Texas Day on a Thursday program. We'll talk plenty of Longhorns. But that will do it for this one. Great show, my man. Great show, Arch Manning.
There he is.
And we will talk to y'all tomorrow.
Hook 'em.
Hook up.